Hello friends, welcome. We are getting ready to feed our urban worm bag out on the patio, but I have a little bit of an experiment that we're going to try today. So I have this kind of big chunk of food. And I have a Wally. Hey Wally, there's no watermelon. Not right now, but soon. We have this big chunk of food that, like, you can see there's an apple, there's a lot of greenery. I don't even remember what was in here, but it's been frozen solid. And I've had it out defrosting for a couple hours, but what I was thinking of doing is I've always wanted to try the bigger burrito test, or not test, but like the way people kind of burrito feed. And I thought that this could be kind of cool for that, because that way, because it's a larger feeding than normal, and there's a good chance we'll just let it sit longer, because it'll be wrapped up in the burrito. The burrito will help insulate any of the cold from this, and it'll help protect this over time, since this is a big feeding. And I think it's going to take them a little while to break down this, because I still think there's probably some food out there from the last feeding that they're probably still working on, because it's been about 7 or 8 days since they've been last fed, and the last feeding was a little bit of a larger feeding, but I'm trying to increase the amounts that they're being fed in hopes that because we're working in a clock like shape, like if you think of our little handy dandy plate here, we're treating the urban worm bag, even though it's more square like, we're treating it kind of like a clock. So we have 12, 6, 3, and 9. And so what happened was when we first started feeding, we started working counterclockwise. So the last feeding they had, and we'll go out and look on it when we put the food in there, was at around 3 o'clock on the clock. So I'm thinking for this size one, we'll probably do like closer to like the 2, 1 o'clock, because it's so big. And then that way, the next time we feed them, we'll be back to noon. So let me, this plate has a little water, but what I'm going to be using, or I think is a good idea, is I have some of these ads that they put in the mailbox. And so I was thinking it's non-glossy, which I know is typically what people say you have to worry about. And supposedly in the States, the color is safe. I haven't really used a lot of paper with color on it. Wooly! Hold on, we're under attack. But also, can we just appreciate how cool the rainbow looks from here on Wally? He's a rainbow baby. Right, Moose? There's no food, Moose. Moose is just here because he wants food. Wally, we're okay, big guy. Yeah, okay. All right, so back to the paper safety. It probably isn't ideal, because obviously there's some sort of synthetic chemicals and stuff that I'm sure they're using, but I'm hoping through the magic of vermicomposting, any of our major concerns will dissipate. Okay, that was easy. Oh, rainbow's on Moose now. All right, so I'm making a little bit of a barrier here, and what I'm going to do is just kind of overlap the papers ever so slightly, and that way when we put the block of food on here, I'm thinking it will this will be sufficient enough to wrap it up with. And then I have just one lone sheet that I was thinking of putting this way. There we go. Yeah. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to put this down, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, Wally. You're the most handsome rainbow baby. Look at you. Okay. So as soon as I realized what this bag was, I was like, yep, that's why it smells. So this is a continuation of, I don't know if you guys remember, but like a couple of feedings back, there was a bag of apples that we bought from the grocery store, got it home and realized it was not a great batch. So I had cut them up and put them in an emptied salad container, along with any salad greens and random this, that, and the other. So this is an interesting mix of food for this group, because there is really, what is the word I'm looking for? Really squishy greens, which they haven't really gotten a lot of greens in like the delicate sense. They got Brussels sprouts, apples, which are sweeter. And then I noticed it's mostly apples and lettuce in here from what I can tell. I think I saw one banana peel. So this should be a really interesting mix to see how it breaks down and how they choose to consume it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this baby up. I'm going to kind of just hold it in because it's going to fall. It's going to open up if I let go. But I did a loose wrapping as best that I could. And I was kind of like folding the paper around it. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this straight out to the urban worm bag. And we're going to get this in there and get these babies fed. All right, so I literally am holding the camera and the burrito of food. I'm trying to go quick because I know my phone does not like it when it's outside and hot. So let's see how we're doing. Okay. All right, interesting. We're back up to, oh, well, we're not quite at 90, but we're just below it. So that's good. That's good. Now I'm going to just pull this aside. This is all kind of bedding topping. I'm just going to briefly put our burrito here because this 3 o'clock area is where they were fed last. And like I said, it's been about a week or so, a little over a week. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's a little bit of food in here, but there's not a lot. I'm really, like I see like part of a banana peel and mostly paper towel. So I think we can definitely handle a feeding. But given how big this is, we're going to just kind of take up this whole front area over here. So I'm going to relocate our thermometer over here. And then I'm going to we're going to do some digging. Because I don't believe there's ever been a feeding over here. I think we started on a different portion of the bag. I don't think we started at 12. So let's gonna go ahead. We're just, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's great. So this is really good because it's such a large feeding. We have plenty of bedding in here that could obviously cover it, but now we don't have to worry about as much of the moisture potentially becoming problematic. Although truthfully, I don't think there is a moisture problem in here. If anything, it's probably too dry. Like this stuff is a little bit damp, but I'm not really, I'm not feeling a whole lot here. So yeah, I love how easy it is to feed this setup, the bag setup, and I'm sure it's not always this easy, but as we're getting started, the feedings have been going really smoothly, and I think it's because you can't really go wrong. Like, I mean, you can overfeed for sure, but I think with this, because it's so big and there's so much bedding that you can preemptively put in here, it's really easy for you to just keep adding bedding and bedding and bedding. And that way, as you're adding food, the bedding's already in here and you just covered the food. And so I think with the towers that I have, like my Hot Frog, because they're only about this thick, you can really, it's hard sometimes to get a good thick covering of bedding on top of them. So this is just kind of a different thing. I'm sure there's different problems with these bags, but look at that. Only a couple minutes in and boom, they're fed. Super easy. All right, friends. Well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out some of my other playlists, videos from the Urban Worm Bag. If you're curious to see, this bin's only been active for just a few months now, so we're still in the very early stages. So if you're also getting started, you might find some of my other videos super helpful because I'm new too.